welcome to a new video. Today I want to talk about how my whole diet and eating and drinking habits are gonna change after weight loss surgery. So I've had 3 appointments with a dietitian. As I said, that's the necessary amount for my weight, and it's a lot of info. So that's why I decided to split this whole thing up in 2 videos. This video is about what will change after weight loss surgery, and another video will be about what I can do before the surgery to already help the whole process, So first of all, we're going to look at the basics, the long-term changes that are going to happen after weight loss surgery. The most important thing is to have a high protein and low carb and low sugar diet. They really punched the idea of a lot of protein into your head. It is really important. Then 1.5 to 2 liters of liquids a day. Acceptable liquids are of course water, but without bubbles. Unsweetened tea and black coffee. Coffee with a little bit of milk and sugar is also okay, but of course sugar should be held to a minimum. There is the so-called 30-30 rule, that you don't drink anything 30 minutes before eating and 30 minutes after eating. And for long-term diet, it is recommended to have 4 small meals per day. At the beginning, that won't be possible yet, so it will probably be more like 5 to 6 meals a day until the stomach is used to normal food again. Important is also to choose good fats. Those are, for example, fish oil, plant oil, for example, olive oil, nuts, cheese, eggs. Those are good fats. And of course, one of the most important things is eat slow, chew a lot, and don't have any distractions while eating. Okay, and then what's special after surgery is that you will need protein powder to get to your protein goal, and probably multivitamins for the rest of your life to get all the nutritions for your body. At the beginning, it is recommended to have at least 60 grams of protein per day, and later up to 80 grams. We got information about how to calculate how much protein you need, and it's pretty easy. So without surgery, it is said your height in centimeters minus 100, and that times 1. For me, it would be 65 grams of protein a day before surgery. And after surgery, you do the same thing. Your height in centimeters minus 100, but you do it times 1.2. So in my case, that would be 78 grams of protein per day. And since you can't eat a lot after surgery, it is very important to use protein powders to get to your protein goal, because again, protein is super important, and we got a picture for that this year with all the info. What is protein good for? It's all in German, I'm gonna translate it. So protein is super important for building tissue and regenerating tissue, for movement, to transform enzymes, for your immune system, for information transfer. So it has a lot of jobs in your body, and it's super important, especially for muscle building, so you don't lose too much muscle mass, because if you lose weight quickly or with such little food, that is a high risk you're at. But with protein powder, it should be no problem. Now, the thing with protein powder, they recommend a protein powder that has at least 80% protein in it, so at least 80 grams of protein for 100 grams of powder. But we did get some recipes for smoothies to try it out, because I tried some protein powder just as it is with water, and I couldn't get it down. I couldn't drink a whole portion. So I'm definitely gonna try some of those smoothies and see if they taste good. Hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier then. Now, eating right after surgery is gonna be a process in of itself. That means for the first 2 weeks after surgery, you will be on a liquid diet. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Soups, broths, stuff like that, Then the 3rd to 4th week after surgery, you're gonna have a diet of mashed or just soft food. So like yogurt, mashed peas, or whatever. Those are just examples. I don't know what exactly they recommend because we'll get that plan after surgery. And then after the 6th week, you can slowly start to eat normal food. And they told us, which I find very interesting, that a lot of patients come to the point where they just miss chewing, not necessarily miss eating, because they do get their stomach filled and the feeling of hunger is much less after surgery. But the feeling of chewing, so many people miss apparently, and I thought that's gonna be pretty interesting. I just want to clarify, or not clarify, but correct myself. In my last video, I said that after a bariatric sleeve, the stomach holds about 250 milliliters. That is wrong. We got actually a picture for a bypass and a bariatric sleeve, and it says at the bottom that after surgery, the stomach holds about 60 to 80 milliliters, so a lot less than I actually thought. Okay, and then of course, right after surgery, I mean, you get a huge chunk of stomach cut out of you. You're gonna have issues with eating at first, so you can have trouble eating and drinking. It might be that you just have to force yourself to eat and drink because you don't have the feeling of hunger anymore, or thirst, or whatever, and which of course I can't imagine right now. But I think that's gonna be very interesting. It's also, you might develop a sugar and lactose intolerance that is less likely with a bariatric sleeve. So I'm not too worried about it, but even if, it's like, okay, if it happens, it happens. So, and the last, and I personally think the one that scares me the most is so-called dumping syndrome. That can be early dumping or late dumping. Early dumping comes with low blood pressure, constipation. That's why drinking is super important, because a lot of people after surgery have constipation because they don't drink enough. Because again, not a lot fits in your stomach. Could also be diarrhea or even collapsing, and that early dumping happens right after eating. I can't really explain the whole science of it, but as far as I know, that happens when too much food goes through your stomach too quickly, which of course, when your stomach is reduced so much, then that can happen if you eat too quickly. But then there's also late dumping, which comes with low blood sugar, where you of course can feel dizzy or shaking, your heart is pounding, and that usually happens about 1 to 2 hours after eating. Another problem after surgery might be, or not might be, but is that if you're eating too fast, you will throw up. Your stomach is so small after surgery. You have to be really careful when eating. What they told us is after every bite or slurp or whatever, put your fork down, put your spoon down, whatever, and just wait a second. The exact moment when you feel just a little bit full or a little bit of pressure in your stomach, you have to stop immediately with eating, because otherwise it can end badly. Honestly, I think that is it with how eating is after surgery. It's not that much, I think, but it will just be a lot of change. It will be a lot different from normal eating habits, so that's gonna be the hard part, but it doesn't change my excitement about surgery. So the next video will be about how I can prepare with my diet for surgery. I hope you tune in for that as well. But for now, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing down below to join me on my journey to weight loss surgery and beyond. Also, leave me a like if you did enjoy it. Leave your comments and suggestions down in the comment section below. But for now, I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are, and I will see you next time. Bye!